Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to Season 22's All-Star Race for One Hub Racing. Hope you're all excited for what's to come. We've got 19 drivers, everyone that is expected to be here today, so we're going to get cracking. My name is Jess Ball, my first commentary of the season, believe it or not, and it only took to the All-Star Race to do it. But joining me, I'm quite surprised to say this, we haven't commentated for the 2 years we've known each other, which was very, very interesting to find out. But we're finally commentating alongside each other now. It is Tom Cairns. Tom, how you doing?
Not too bad, thank you, Jess. And hello to everyone that's tuned in. We're looking forward to an all-star race involving the best drivers we have seen competing between the three tiers in One Hub Racing. And we are about to see them not only compete on circuit here at Interlagos, but in their own liveries. So it's not the liveries of the Formula One teams of 2022, it's their own customised liveries. And I think we're going to be seeing some incredible coloured liveries, really. Maybe see a few tacky ones, some maybe unusual ones, but others will be absolutely spellbinding designs. I'm no artist myself, but I do like a little bit of green, because green is my favourite colour, Jess, of all things. I don't know what your favourite colour is, but either way, we should be in for some good action tonight.
One of my favourite colours is green, but I also I think I'm starting to like blue at the moment, a bit of light blue, but anyway. So, I'm excited to see the liveries, actually. I hope people have got liveries for today, and it looks like some people have forgot, but we will digress. So we'll look at the format quickly before we introduce the next bit, because we want to start as quickly as we can. So, the top drivers in the rankings that Cam has set up will be invited to the All-Star Race. That's the top 20 drivers of One Hub Racing based on Cam's ranking system. And there were some people that couldn't make it tonight, so there were a few reserves that got pretty much invited to that as well, who were 21st to 30th in the rankings as well. So like we were saying, multiplayer cars with custom liveries, and to spice it up a little bit, custom weather for extra fun. So when we didn't get the privilege of choosing the weather, unfortunately, we're going to let someone at random, the random generator choose the weather for us. So basically, we've got a list, and we've got 2 slots for qualifying and 3 slots for the race. And I may as well get it going before I ask for your thoughts. So yeah, we'll get the random generator up as well. What weather are you hoping for? Are you hoping for some rain, or would you prefer it to be clear?
I think for the drivers, they would prefer a dry race, but I think given how good they have been throughout the whole campaign, a bit of rain needs to test them, I think, Jess. We need to see who can cope well in the conditions and who cannot.
Okay, so when I did this test earlier, when Cam was going through this with me, well, it was kind of interesting, but just to point out, if the random.org generator comes out with dry and then wet for qualifying, we'll have to redo, because otherwise we're going to be in for quite a short qualifying session. So it can be a dry qualifying session, it could be a wet to dry qualifying session, it could be a wet qualifying session. We'll have to wait and see. So without further ado, hopefully people can see my screen. We will get going. So qualifying's weather is very wet, then light clouds. So it's a wet to dry qualifying session. Hopefully Timo has got this covered. So I'll go back. That's going to spice things up. A wet to dry qualifying. I think that was the same for the last All-Star race. It was wet to dry. And in the race, we have 3 slots. So here we go. What's that going to be? A wet to dry qualifying as well, with the starting a very wet, and then we've got 2 light cloud sessions. I was hoping there wasn't going to be any rain, but at least it's good for us commentators, and I hope the drivers have practice for the wet conditions, but at least it's not going to be wet for the whole qualifying or the full race.
No, so I think a wet start, I think, will be interesting to see who gets off the line fine, and then once things start to pick up during the course of the 36 laps here at Interlagos, Brazil, I think we're going to be seeing a little bit more of a normality, I think, Jess, but I'm sure the drivers can cope with it just fine throughout the night.
Yes, hopefully we will get a bit of a idea as to when the weather is set up in the game so we can start. But the track that we're going to today for the All-Star race, like we're saying, is Brazil. First use in Formula 1 back in 1973. It was built in 1940. And Interlagos, believe it or not, literally translates in Portuguese as between the lakes. And it was renamed the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in honour of Carlos Pache, who died in a light air crash in 1977, who won his only Formula 1 race back in the circuit in 1975. He's holding a sprint race this year in real life, as it has been for the last few years in Formula 1 as well. And with sprint race, at least, it always brings out definitely some great action. We had title deciders here as well, and it's just such an iconic track with that Glock moment. We saw, I think it was the 2006 title as well. Sebastian Vettel won from like lower down the grid and still went on to win the title that year. It's just brilliant.
It's brilliant, and it's been the host of the opening round of the season as well, Jess. The Brazilian Grand Prix has not only been held at Interlagos, but also at the Hacara-Pagua circuit at Rio de Janeiro. And that used to be quite a fitting setting for the season opener for Formula 1. You know, the Brazilian crowd rooting for the likes of Emerson Fittipaldi, Carlos Pache, as you mentioned, Ayrton Senna, Nelson Piquet. Ayrton Senna never won at Hacara-Pagua, but did win twice at Interlagos. But the most successful driver in Brazil would be Alain Prost, who won 6 times, 5 of those at Hacara-Pagua and once at Interlagos in 1990. So, like you say, the championship's been decided. I remember it's been decided 5 years in a row, actually. Lost 2012 and...
It was 2009, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009 and 2012.
Yeah, so that's 6 years, yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was decided in 2010, it was Abu Dhabi. 2011 was... I don't know. Japan.
Yeah.
Same as 2022, believe it or not, it was decided at Japan. So there we go. But before we get started, because we just loaded into the lobby, we'll have a quick mention of our sponsors. So thank you to our sponsors for helping us this season. We are in the process of sorting prizes out for them. So we've got one of our main sponsors, Next Level Racing, who sponsor the league by providing prizes. Well, they're not going to provide prizes this season, but in future seasons to come. Pure Sim Gear sponsor the league by providing a new product not launched yet to the driver with the most podiums. And, that award was given last week. Gamergoo sponsor the league by providing Gamergoo sample to our trophy winners. So anyone that's getting a trophy will get in some Gamergoo samples. Aztec Sim Sports sponsor the league by providing a multitude of prizes with different ways to win them. We got our partners, Vespertine, partner with Vespertine, who support our official apparel. We also partner by SingGrid, powered by SingGrid, run for our seasons through our community and platform. And ERT Elite Racing Team, partner the ERT Go and Gets Tough Award and league trophies. So we got the sponsors out the way. We may as well cut to the action in racing. We may as well go through the drivers. So let's go through the drivers now. So we've got 19 here today. So we've got Lawrence, who was the P3 champion. He was top of our rankings, who was invited. We've got Asselok as well, who was our P2 runner-up. And we've got Nick, who was the P3 runner-up. Delta White Fountain, who was the P2 champion. Jonas Olbrit, who was... Nick was top 3. Jonas Olbrit was runner-up, in P3. So we've got Jonas Olbrit as well. We've got Jaco, who was our P1 champion, or is on the PC, as well as White Fountain. We've got ERT Timo, who was a P1 driver, so is OP Tim. We got Quinn and Vatesy, both from Red Dragon. Their racer Quinn was in P3, who was P4 in the standings. Vatesy was racing in P2. King J was racing in P3 last season. I need to go on sport with someone. There we go. We got J-Luke, who raced in P2. I can see the thing, there's a lot of P2 drivers in this list. We got Jinx, who was in P1. Cam, our organiser, who raced in P2 last season. Hookie, who raced in P3. I should have known because I raced with him. Larkin, who raced in P1, who was the runner-up and also Constructors Champion. Quinn was the P3 Constructors Champion, I forgot to say. We had Matthias, who was a P3 driver. I didn't finish that far behind him, actually, so that wasn't bad. We got Matthias, his teammate, having a giggle mate, who is here tonight as well, also in P3. As well, and the final driver who got went in last minute was Mason Jr., who is he here at the moment? I can't see him. Oh yeah, there he is. He's in 11th place at the moment. So there are our drivers for today. And before we get going, I know it's wet. It's hard to tell at the moment. What do you think of the livery so far?
Well, I've only seen Delta Hunters so far because he was the first driver to appear on circuit. Just browsing through, I'll tell you what, I like Waitsy's livery. It gives me sort of the Jaguar vibes back in the early noughties, Jess. That would be the kind of car I would want on the My Team mode on the F1 games. I think that's a really, really nice livery, actually. As is Quinn. It gives me a little bit the Orange Arrows vibe back in those days. That's just me going back so many years back in comparison maybe to how the others feel. We've got Matthias, who's gone out in his McLaren livery by the looks of it. Well,
yes.
McLaren type livery anyway.
That looks very nice. That looks very realistic, not good. Oh, it's the Monaco livery. That's cheating. That's cheating. I know you're allowed to use that, but I'm not going to pick that as my favourite livery because they didn't have creative control. But still, I like that livery anyway when they ran it, I believe, in Monaco. But yeah, my favourite, I liked, J. Cole's livery looks very nice. I like the black and the red and the yellow. Lauren, I like the pink already. Jake, I like a bit of green. J. Cole as well. There's so many good liveries. I can't see J-Luke's what he's chosen because he's in the pits right now. But he's running one of his liveries he runs in Jackacar, which is also who runs in multiplayer leagues as well. But yeah, let's follow some people on laps. So we don't know when it's going to dry up. Of course, I think a few people are just going to wait until it dries up. So Matthias then, we'll take you on board with him as he goes through turn number 1, heading towards the Senna S's as well. Very struggling to get on the powers, very hard on traction. Now, Jonah Olbrit, 5-place grid penalty, collision with Hookie. So that is interesting. We'll see that development as it continues. But heading towards the Cinderlago, turn 4 as well. Doesn't clip that much curb because of the wet conditions, otherwise it'll send yourself into a spin. Up the hill, we see many people go side by side in turn 5. I did see someone go off there. I don't know who that was, but it was a purple car at least. Someone else that's gone off and had a bit of a spin. So that is quite a lot of spinners today, but I think Matthias managed to do that all right. He's coming past a few bits of traffic as well. We've got Aslock in P2. Jake car is currently sitting fast with a 1:19.3, but Matthias heading towards the final sector now. Heading towards Jungsao in just a moment. His teammate moves out. Well, he's also running the McLaren livery. Is let him go. Ooh, a bit of a tank slapper there. To be honest, I wouldn't have managed this well. So he's doing a pretty good job. He would have done better than me. Larkin goes fast as well, a 1:19.8. But we'll see what Matthias can do in that McLaren livery. It's going to be a 1:22.4. Now, anyone else about to cross the line? We got, I think, Quinn. No, it's not Quinn. It's everyone. A lot of people in orange liveries. It's hard to tell. Axelot just came across the line with a 1:21. But at the moment, is our Constructors Champions from P1. That is fast at the moment. But I'm just running on board with Larkin, whose livery is very nice. I think he's got, he's got no front wing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think that's going to help him at all, really, in these conditions, because you do need more downforce in wet conditions in comparison to what you would need to have in the dry. So J. Cole's second at the moment. He's done good so far. I think it's interesting to know which setups each of the drivers have gone for, because they are under part Fermi rules once they leave the garages. So I imagine there'll be some that'll be saving their setups for the race, Jess. So I wouldn't necessarily want to draw into any conclusions as to who's going to end up fastest here, because I think it's not going to be quite as relevant as what we're going to see in the race. But nevertheless, it is a good opportunity for the drivers to get some wet weather experience under their belt before the race later. As J. Cole goes to the top, 1:19.6, so nearly a couple of tenths faster than what Larkin had posted. And then it's Nick in third place, who is coming through the last few kinks before the line.
And he's pit him.
So that's him in there.
J-Luke, I believe, just finished his run as well. 120.1 for him. Kind of slots him into P5. He's got a bit of navy blue and black. I like it as well. I believe it's, I think it's ART colours, because obviously he's an ART. So I like it. I like the sponsors as well. It looks pretty decent the way that he used it. I like it. Jinx goes fastest, like we were saying, 119.5. A lot of people will be doing more than a few laps on those wet tyres because obviously it's wet to dry. And we've got White Fountain, it comes across the line in P3. Who's next across the line? We've got, I think it's Vatesy up to the line, P5. And then we got Lawrence, our P3 champion then, who's currently in 16th. So he's not last at the moment. What's he going to do now? Stays in 16th at the moment. And interestingly, I don't get why that we've got Lawrence who's on the Inters, so is Tim. We've got Cam who's just gone on the Inters now. I would say it's about the right time to go on Inters because there's hardly any standing water, but I don't know. I'm not the best to judge these conditions. But yeah, it's not as raining hard as it was before, so it's definitely intermediate conditions now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we're past that point of being on wets and we're definitely at the crossover onto the intermediates. So I think if you're one of those that are out there, I think you don't want to go too soon though, because I think the track will pick up as the drivers are setting lap times, because the more and more grip is going to be laid out on circuit. The track is coming towards that window of being green as Luke has crashed out on circuit, unfortunately.
Yeah, J-Luke has gone. Is that exit at turn 4, it looks like? Yeah.
No, it's on the exit of turn 3, Curva de Sol, so that's him out of the session, unfortunately. So that's him done for the session, but he's P7 right now, but with the intermediate tyres going on for the drivers now, he's going to be starting at the back pretty much now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so, because don't forget, it is a wet to dry qualifying. Lawrence can't sit fast. The track is definitely ramping up, so it's definitely Inters. I expect Cam to go even quicker. He does not. So Lawrence has set a very good lap time on those intermediate tyres. Oh well, so I think J. Cole's still on the wets. What can he do? P2 on wets, that's pretty impressive indeed. We got, no, it's not Tim because he's invalidated. Matthias is still waiting in the pits. We got Quinn, who's coming towards the start-finish line. He's about to start his run. We got Yavin and Giggle, who's currently last at the moment. And he's found 11 seconds, a 120.1 for him, which puts him into P9. Lot of black cars, I believe.
Mason.
Mason's off.
Yeah, he hit the barrier quite hard actually as he went through the kinks. Got away with it, but however he's got front wing damage, so that was very nearly the right front hitting the... Well, he did hit the barrier with the right front, but it was very lucky he didn't terminally damage the car there, so Mason living to fight another day. Axlock is coming through. Although I don't think this is a very fast lap time. I think he's ducking for the pits for intermediates now. So I think this is definitely the time to switch onto the intermediates with less than 8 minutes to go now, Jess.
We'll see Lawrence then. We won't see Lawrence as he's going into the pit lane. But we got another purple car about to cross the line. I believe that's Jonas Ulbricht. No, it's not. He's going into the pit. As Cam goes faster. I think on his first lap, he didn't get a chance to set a proper lap time, so 1:17.1. That livery, by the way, is very cool. You can tell Cam knows what colours I like. That is interesting. He's got a US-style livery because when the United States Grand Prix was on in Podium Pass, that was that is very nice actually. I like the use of the colours. It fits very well with that as well. So. That is similar to the colours I ran, I think, in one of the seasons in one of my league races. So, yeah, that looks very nice. King J livery looks very nice as well with the yellow. A lot of yellow, purple, green, blue. A lot of people are running those colours. So that's nice as King J slots himself into P16. Now, it's going to be a dry end to the session. When do you think it's going to dry up?
It'll dry up, I think, in the next couple of minutes, and if so, then soft tyres are going to need to be put on, I think. And the good news with the Interlagos circuit is because it's a short lap, so I'd say if you got like 90 seconds to go, I would just risk it and go out there on the soft tyres.
I would as well, as Timo goes second fastest in his ERT colours, as you can see right there. Big thank you to our partners ERT for all the support this season. As Tim now comes across the line, he needs a better qualifying session. And he's got a McLaren Golf-inspired livery, which I really, really like. And he goes fastest. Oh, was just been beaten by Larkin in front of him with a 1:59. Nick comes across the line in third as well. Who's next across the line? It's not Axelot. Is it Quinn? Quinn just come across the line, but he was 5 tenths slower than his previous best as well. And he just invalidated into turn 2 and 3. It's Kerber de Sol. So, yeah. That's not good for Quinn, but he knows he's going to drive anyway, so it's not over for him yet as well. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who do you think is going to get pole position here today out of our 19 drivers? Don't forget, we've got P1 drivers, P2 drivers, and P3 drivers. We've got quite a bit of a mix here today. What makes it so challenging to have a mixed ability grid here today?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, you know, the Parc Fermé rules is what's going to decide it, so I don't know what setups each of the drivers have gone for, really. So it could be an unusual name, Jess. I would probably say I'd be leaning more towards Cam K-Mum because he's shown some strong pace in the wet so far. We saw it at Silverstone at the last P2 tier race where he did better than expected. However,
finished second.
Yeah, he did. So I would probably say that Cam K-Mum might just take it, but I think it's going to come down to last driver over the line as the track conditions will improve constantly.
I believe Axelot as well. It was either Axelot or Delsey. It was one of the Red Bulls that went on to take that victory in the end. Axelot was very good in those wet conditions. And obviously, I think without that trouble midway through the season, I think he would have won that P2 title. But he's going to concentrate on this race, of course. And he's looking quite quick already. I don't think it's going to be enough for pole, but he may prove me wrong. It's going to be a 1:17.0. So my prediction for Axelot has probably gone down in the bin at the moment. And it's stopped. No, it's not stopped raining on track. You can see on the halo, but it's still there, surprisingly. So you never know. The game may not dry up at all. We'll have to wait and see. Tim's got soft tyres ready, so he thinks it's going to dry up soon. Who's going to be up to the line next? We've got... Is it Joan? No, it's not Jonas. I keep thinking it's Jonas, but it's not. Because he's dived it into the pits. We've got too many orange cars. It's so confusing. Matthias is in as well. I think we're going to see a lot of people in the pits, I think, Tom. Whilst they wait for the rally straight up. They'll be keeping an eye on the tyre deltas very, very quickly indeed.
Yeah, I would say so too. I think there's some that may decide to go into another set of intermediates to sort of burn out more of their tyres because they're not going to be using all of them in the race anyway, so they just need to decide whether it's worth going on to the intermediates or the softs. But it's just coming down to the fact that if they go on a set of soft tyres with 90 seconds to go as they leave the pits, they'll get round providing they don't skate off the circuit, and they'll get over the line in time, and as the track improves during the course of the lap, they may just find all the time they need to snatch pole position. I think that's what it's going to come down to. Having said that, all 19 drivers are going to think exactly the same thing, apart from Luke, of course, actually, because he's out of session. Yeah. So it's just going to come down to who is prepared to take the risk and go out last, because they're going to be held up in traffic, really, as the clock ticks down.
It stopped raining now. It stopped raining. That's going to be, I think, key. So I think it's not going to be that long before the drivers are going to be thinking about coming to finish off their laps. So 90 seconds, so 1 minute 30. If you're not out by 1 minute 30, then it's going to be a bit of a risk. So Larkin is in the box seat at the moment. So no matter what happens, unless someone does a quicker lap on the soft tyres in these type of conditions, then Larkin will remain fastest. Nick G is starting to say on the inters, interesting as well. So nobody is going out on softs yet. We've got Quinn, Jaco and Matthias on a set of the inters. Timo is going very brave. He's going on the soft tyres now. So he's followed our advice, Tom, by going out now. So, yeah, I think it's too late for everybody else to go out now because it's going to be hard to do an out lap in time. But if Timo can pull a lap out the bag, it'll be pole position. 1:14.9 for Axelot at the moment as he's fastest. We've got Quinn up to the line who's invalid, but he's going to go again most likely as well. I don't think it's enough for drives, but they just got to risk it like you were saying.
Yeah, so I think it's going to come down to the last man over the line, just because if you're the last man over the line, you're going to have the best track conditions on the soft compound. So even though you're not going to get anywhere near the fastest time compared to would be if it was completely dry, it still might be enough to snatch pole. So oh, it's a collision! Oh dear me, Timo.
Uh-oh. That's Timo and King J, I believe.
Yeah, so I think King was on a flying lap and Timo was just trying to get some temperature into his tyres, and then King just... I don't think King was at fault there. I think Timo was just not paying enough attention to the cars behind him.
DRS enabled, Tom. DRS enabled. And Jinx, Lawrence, Ratesy and Cam, they've got the best conditions. One of them could get pole today, and this is going to be ideal. It'll still be damp, but we will probably see 110s coming very, very soon. So... oh, and Jinx has invalid. Oh, no, that's very bad. But it will help the likes of Tim as well as he heads through turn number 1. I think a lot of people are going to be purple in the sectors. Even ones on the inters are going to find some time. Quinn goes fastest. J. Cole goes fastest. Everyone is topping those timing sheets. We've got someone that's just crossed the line. A checker flag has dropped. So we will see who's going to get the honours of getting pole today. Hooky. Someone else has just spun, but it's not Hooky. Hooky comes across the line into P9. So he won't go any quicker, but still a respective lap time on those intermediate tyres. We've got a black car of Mason who's going in to the pit lane. Axelot has gone off. Matthias comes across the line in into P4. I'm just trying to see who's going to be the first driver to go on to do a lap on the soft tyres. So Tim, purple sector 2. This is going to be the benchmark for all the other soft tyre runners to follow, unless you're Jinx and Timo. But here comes Tim. Is it going to be enough for pole position here today for the Brazilian Grand Prix in the All-Star race? Cam went fast, then it was Timo, and then it was Tim, 107.9 in these types of conditions. Quite incredible. Lawrence goes third fastest. Very impressive. Anyone else on the softs? That is Batesy. Purple sector 2, the game's saying. Is that true, or is that the game lying? We'll find out soon. The answer to that is, well, the game's lying, but that's still P2 for him as well. So, like you were saying, it wasn't the last man on the track who got pole. It was, I think, the second to last at this moment in time. We'll see what Axelot can do. No, he's going into the pits, and it's good that people took that risk because it dried up ever so quickly. I think they just got to rely on risk for the race as well, because you never know when it's going to dry up in the race as well. But yeah, a very interesting qualifying session, and our P1 driver Tim is on pole.
Yeah, it was a very, very good lap there from Tim. He got the time needed. He got a 1:07 out of it as well, actually, which is very impressive considering it was only just pretty much starting to dry. So this is your order then at the end of qualifying, with Tim on pole with Waitsy alongside, with Timo starting 5 places as he was judged to be responsible for the collision with King. So he'll start back in 8. So Lawrence and Cam will be on the second row with J. Cole and Larkin on row 3. And then it is Quinn in 7th ahead of Timo, with Nick up there in 9th and ahead of Giggle. We've got Matthias and Delta Hunter on row 6 ahead of Axlock and Jinx. Hooky Mason on the 8th row, with King starting further back behind J. Luke, who will move up 1 place in 17th. So it's King 18th and Jonas at the back in 19th position.
A lot of 5-place grid penalties here today. That is not very good, is it? But I like that this weather system has definitely shaken up the grid a bit more, which I think makes the race more open. People may think, oh, the P3 drivers are going to get annihilated, but with these type of weather conditions, if you take the right risk, you will get the result and sometimes perform better than the people in the higher tiers, which is amazing. Now, just to point out, for those of you that are wondering as well, it's a mandatory 2-stop once again. So the same one-hub rules apply for this race with a mandatory 2-stop. I will do a quick reminder as to what the weather is for the race, according to our random generator. So it's going to start off wet, and then at some point in the race, we don't know when, it's going to be light cloud for the rest of it as well. So we're not going to see sunshine, which is not ideal, but it's going to be starting in the same conditions as qualifying, at least. I'm a bit worried about the ones who spun in qualifying. J-Lu didn't even get a dry lap in, so I'm a bit worried about him, but we'll see what the drivers can do. I'm trying to remember. I should have asked if there's formation lap. I can't remember if there's formation lap, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I would imagine. I think, given its wet conditions, I would expect there to be a formation lap, Jess, because otherwise you're going to see a lot of rusty driving going into the first few corners, really. So I think a formation lap is what's needed, really. I think it's only sensible if they do that.
Yeah. But I will be prepared if there's not. But there was formation lap this season, so I won't be surprised if there's a formation lap here. And yes, there is. Thank goodness. So Timo has done the lobby correctly. Thank you, Timo, for hosting the lobby here today. So tyres then. So interestingly, we got 3 people on Inters. That is Tim, Timo, and Delta. So I will expect Vatesy to get a good start. Cam as well, and J Cole, because they're on the wet. Now, that is a bit of a risk, but again, they're given those 3 slots. They don't know when it's going to be Inters. They don't know when it's going to be light cloud and when it's going to dry up. So, I think I remember one person who took that risk. I think it was an F1 esports race. It was around China. And everyone else started on wets, but Jarno Otmir started on Inters. He was near the back of the grid. He went on to win that race because he didn't have to pit. But it's not going to be the same situation here because it's going to be wet to dry, but I like people taking the risk because they might end up spinning if they do that. So they're going to hope the standing water clears away very quickly.
Yeah, that takes me back actually, Jess, to the 1995 European Grand Prix where everyone on the grid except Jean Alesi in the Ferrari that started on dries, and Alesi benefited massively from it because he didn't have to pit again for dries, although he did pit in again because obviously refueling existed back in those days.
Yeah.
Alesi went on to lead the race for the majority of it until Michael Schumacher had caught him up and overtook him with 3 laps left and won. But yeah, it just shows that sometimes taking the risk works, but it doesn't always work, which explains why there is a level of risk involved in Grand Prix racing as well as esports, or even league racing, casual league racing for that matter. But Tim is just trying to get not too much tyre temperature in these conditions because you don't want to burn out your intermediates or wets too soon. But yeah, you can see he's just trying to just find where the grip is, really. Although he's just trying to perform a few pirouettes on these way to...
That's normal. That is to warm up the tyres. That is what, as I found out when I first started doing formation laps again in league racing. I was like, why are they doing donuts? It's just to warm up the tyres, but a few people got disqualified anyway. So we're about to get it going. Thank you to those of you that are watching this evening. It is a 50% race, 2 stops, custom rudder. What can possibly happen in around 45 minutes? We're going to find out very, very soon as the 5 red lights are on and I can't see when they're going green. So that's going to be interesting, stupid camera, as we are underway here in Brazil. Who's going to get the best start here in Brazil? We got, I think, Vatesy trying to get a good start in towards turn number 1 round the outside of Tim there, and the intermediate tyres are not working for Tim. Already dropped down to 3rd place. Lawrence and Tim are come together in the Curva del Sol, which is not ideal through the centre S's, I have to say. Few people have gone off, a few people are struggling for grit and visibility here in these conditions. They all head towards turn 4 now. See the Lager as a lot trying to go side by side with Tim. Tim's almost lost it again. A few people have gone off as Lawrence has gone down the inside of Vatesy up to P2. J. Cole's up to 3rd. Cam stayed in 4th position. Larkin in 5th. Azalok in 6th. And we've got a few meters in the back. Don't forget Jalen started near the back and he's down to 14th already. And he's going to try and get past Quinn for P13 in this race, leaving enough space as he can. He's getting boxed in through this section as he's trying to get past Timo as well. He's going to get 2 cars in 1. The answer to that is yes. J-Luke is up into 12th position.
So it was actually Larkin that got together with Tim at turn 3, hence why Tim has dropped back so much. But if he continues on the intermediates, it'll save him having to do a pit stop. He won't. You just got to hope it doesn't take too long before they all start pitting, because otherwise he's going to be too far out of sync from those ahead of him, and he's going to be a sitting duck from when they go onto the intermediates. As he's on the threat now from J-Luke, has got past him. So J-Luke up into 10th place now after starting from the back of the grid. Having a spellbinding first lap is J-Luke. Can he go up even further during the course of this race so far as Tim continues to try and find grip, but he's going to be really struggling, I think, over the course of the next couple of laps.
Vatesy trying to get past Jacob up to 2nd, so the P1 champion showing how it's done. And he's only 1.3 seconds behind Lawrence, so it'll be interesting to see if they get the move done as well. Larkin having a bit of grip as well into P3, chasing up for P3. Cam in there as well. There is a big train forming, which is great to see, which is something I was not expecting with a grid that is mixed ability. There's no one that's magnificently behind at the moment. I think there's people trying to go for moves. Even Quinn has got past Tim, and they're from different tiers. Obviously, Tim in the highest tier, Quinn in the lowest tier. And it just shows Tim was definitely on the wrong tire for now. Timo's in 17th, Delta Hunter in 19th. Toki also gets past Tim up to 14th position. Yellow flag. Oh, that's Jinx has gone for a bit of a spin. He did a bit of lawn mowing like we saw Valtteri Bottas do in Austria a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so over the line. So Lawrence has got a lead of 6 tenths over J. Cole. There's no DRS because of the weather conditions, so Lawrence doesn't need to worry about that for now. As J. Luke posts a new fastest up of the race, so he's considering his fine performance. Watch Larkin get into the slipstream of Waitsy. Will he have a go into the Cedar Largo at the end of this back straight as Timo and Delta Hunter both come into the pits? They know they've gone onto the intermediates too soon, but Tim has carried on for now.
Yep, he has. Fair play. And if you make your bed, then lie in it. And I think that's what Tim is definitely doing. But he's not that far behind. But we'll see if anyone else can catch up to him as well. We've got Delta, who's gone from the inters to the wet. And I think Timo's done exactly the same. So he's
a change of leader.
Change for the lead. J. Cole going down the inside of Lawrence. And that was before, I think, turn 7, 8 and 9. So J. Cole, your race leader. Now, it was inevitable, I think, for J. Cole to get that race lead for now. The question is, how long can he hold it for? Can he pull that gap he needs? So no matter what tyres he goes on, he stays in front. He doesn't want to let Tim be the one that is ahead of him. So he's got to make sure that he keeps that gap relatively stable. Even if it's 4 tenths behind Lawrence, that's all good. Oh, it's J-Luke's out! J-Luke's out of the race, and where's that? Final corner, and we've got a VSC, I believe. Yeah, VSC. So will people pit for... I think there's no point going for fresh wets, because obviously there's no point. You don't get as much wet in the race. Jinx has gone for inters now. Still standing water. I don't get it, but understand. Oh, it's now turned to a full course safety car.
Yeah, I just said that, yeah, it's just upgraded from a VSC to a safety car. So you could just tell by the yellow dot that came out of the pit. So the safety car is out on circuit. So it is perhaps worth going on to the intermediates now, because you are going to be catching up to the back of the crocodile as the pack catches up to the safety car. So J. Cole just needs to be very careful he doesn't exceed the delta, because the delta is active, which means you must adhere to it. Otherwise, you'll be given a drive-through penalty, which you can't take until the safety car has gone back in the game, which is the last thing you want.
Yeah, I think there has been a few glitches, I think, around this circuit where, like, you're suddenly in way green in the delta, and then suddenly like, you're way over in the delta in red. So, yeah, expect to see, I think, quite a few people slowing down for that. But as long as they keep a relatively slow speed, they should be fine. So, will more people risk it, like Jinx and Quinn and Jonas, and go for the inters? Or will they play it safe and go on to the, say, on the wets? Now, J. Cole was thinking about it, but he stayed out. Lawrence is in. And, oh no, so easy to do. He just got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I've done it quite a few times around it. As Vatesy comes in, Cam is also in as well. Lawrence is on inters. What is Vatesy and Cam going to do? I guess, I know Vatesy and Cam might be in a party together, so they're probably going to be thinking the same thing. They're on the inters, so they must have said the weather report to decide, or what should I go for. It is getting lighter, so I can understand. Hookie, he's on inters as well. Mason Jr. is on inters. Nope, he's not. He's on wets. On fresh wet, so he must have got damaged then, because otherwise he wouldn't have pitted otherwise. So everyone from P8 down, all the way down to P15, has pitted for a set of the intermediate tyres. Will it be the right call? Well, we'll find out in a few laps' time.
Yeah, just saw Quinn in all of that, nearly aquaplaning into the barrier on intermediates whilst on the safety car as well, Jess. So that was very nearly curtains for him. But you can see he's twitching around as he's coming out of the slower corners. So you could just tell that these are not quite the conditions to be on the intermediates. However, stay out for a few laps whilst we are under safety car conditions, and it could be a different story, which explains why you don't need to hammer around the circuit at full pelt, because you know you're going to catch up to the back of the pack anyway. So there just needs to be a lot of sensible drivers on circuit now and just not try and rush through the laps in order to catch us to the back of the safety car. You can't overtake on the yellows anyway, so what's the point of trying to go around the circuit at such a high speed? We've got Giggle in the pits.
Ooh.
So he is going on to intermediates now, but he's lost all that time being stuck behind the pack under the safety car. He's going to lose a few positions, I think, here, Jess.
He is. I think he's going to drop way near the back. And these type of conditions at the start of the race and the intermediate conditions as well kind of remind me of 2003 Brazilian Grand Prix, where a lot of people were aquaplaning everywhere. And I think a lot of people were bidding it in turn 3 as well. And the winner was quite controversial as well. It got decided late on, but there we go. It was that corner there. I think one of my favourite drivers, I think Jensen, went into that wall there. So we're getting a similar sort of vibe, I think, at the moment to what we're seeing in the early 2000s. So that was a race I remember quite vividly in those days as well. And I'm trying to remember what other races around Brazil have been wet. I can't remember, actually. Not many.
We had one in '93, I remember, because we had so many drivers aquaplaning off the circuit, like Alan Prost, for instance. He was in the lead. But he decided to stay out on dries as the rain was coming down, really. So it was a little bit of a rookie error there of all drivers, Alan Prost, of which Ayrton Senna won the race later that day, to the admiration of the Brazilian crowd. Other races, obviously 2012 was another one. 2008 was partly wet and partly dry.
Yes.
And there's a few others I'm trying to remember as well. 96 was another one. 1996 was a wet race as well for most of it. So Interlagos is no stranger to the rain, it seems.
Even though we haven't got it recently, I think the last few seasons it was nice and sunny.
2016 was another one in the wet. It was wet all the way through.
Oh yes, I remember 2016. It's been a while since 2016. I think that was when I dropped out of uni as well that year. I'm kind of glad I did, because I'm doing what I love in my current job. So there we go. But anyway, Matthias is in for a set of inters then. But they're losing all that time in the safety car, apart from Mason, who was near the back anyway. So he's on inters. Now, I'm just looking at the track. I'm riding on board with Larkin, because he's on the wet. There's no standing water. So at this stage, the ones on the wets are going to hope that the wets are still viable, because they could carry more water, but the engines are going to be faster. At the moment, Lawrence is your net race leader.
He is, but he's got to take that 5 seconds at his next pit stop. So
it could be Waitsy then, he's your net race leader.
Yeah, it could be Waitsy, but it just depends on the genuine pace from the drivers actually as well, and depending on what setups they've gone for. So that could be the decisive factor in this race, really. So Waitsy is in prime position to win this race now, it seems. Having said that, the likes of J. Cole, who we know is the Tier 1 champion, I believe, or the P1 Tier 1
P1 champion,
anyway. Yeah, so if he can show off his pace when it gets dry eventually, he'll definitely come through the pack as the safety car comes in at the end of this lap now, Jess.
Here we go then. So our first restart of this All-Star race. Hope you all enjoy it. If you're liking this action, don't forget to give us a follow on Twitch and subscribe us to on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at One Hub Racing to keep you up to date on what's going on in the world of One Hub Racing. So there's hardly any rain now. So Jaco, all he's going to do is hope that the intermediate tyre runners behind him do not get past. So he's going to use Larkin as a buffer, which I think he's going to do. And he's already pulling away. Larkin has got better grip as well. As they all pass the start-finish straight then. We'll keep an eye on Lawrence and Vatesy then to see if they could try and get past the wet runners. No such luck. So there's not much difference between the full wets and the intermediate tyres at the moment. But you can see Lawrence getting the good straight line speed, but Vatesy, I think, is just so much quicker than Lawrence that they're holding the rest of the pack up on those set of intermediate tyres. So the intermediate runners are not that having much of an advantage right now. Tim almost got past Cam down the inside of turn 4 into the Cena de Largo, but nothing much else has happened. Lawrence finally has got past King J on the set of the wet tyres, and as King J's gone off, I don't know who's caused that, but he's in the grass now. But yeah, there's a lot of people going off. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of drama happening here in Interlagos as Jinx is going rubbing wheels with King J then, heading towards turn 8. As Jinx up to 6. There's quite a lot of shuffling towards the back. Vatesy is up to 11. By the way, Jonas's livery looks absolutely brilliant, similar to the colours I would run. So Jonas 10 out of 10 for me in terms of livery. But yeah, King J is the only 4 wet driver that is struggling. Apart from that, the other 4 wet runners are doing well. I spoke to you soon, Tom. Nick's been passed by Lawrence.
Yeah, well, Nick is in the pits now, and he very nearly collected the wall as he went in. And we saw a number of drivers spinning around there and using the reset to track button. So there may be a few words after, because I saw a number of drivers using it, and whilst others were going past them on the racing line. So there may be a few penalties being dished out afterwards anyway, but we'll focus on the action for now. As J. Cole, Larkin and Axel decide to stay out for the time being. They're going to be hoping for another safety car now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And they're doing well to make sure no one catches up to them. And if you're confident that you have the pace to match the ones on the inters, even if you're on a slower tyre, then that sets you up for the rest of the race. They're probably going to try and stay on these wets until the dry period. But the thing is, when it gets dry, the wet tyre is going to fall off like a... I don't know what the saying is, but it's fall off massively, and they're going to lose so much grip. So they're going to hope it dries up quickly. Aslot doing well as well, but you can see that the Inters are starting to be the more viable tyre now. Lawrence is going to try every trick of the book to try and get past their Axolot at the moment. And with this different pace ability, you can tell if a slower tier driver gets past a quicker tier driver, then you know that you're on the wrong tyre. And that is definitely what Lawrence is showing at the moment. He's only 1.1 seconds behind Larkin then, despite that penalty. So he's doing it quite well. But Jayco is just loving life out in front. Since that safety car restart, he doesn't care he's on 4 wets. He's loving life, and he's increasing the gap to Larkin.
He is, but he's going to be under attack from those on the intermediates very shortly, Jess. And Lawrence has got that penalty actually hanging over him, so he's trying to make up for lost time here. He's about to go past Larkin now, so Lawrence passing Larkin into turn 8, and he's got himself up into 2nd place on the track. Now, can Axolot hold off Jinx for as long as possible? I don't think he's going to go into Beaker de Pato, as Jinx with the Audi livery does look very nice actually. I can't wait for them partnering up with the Sauber team in 2026. It's going to be a monster of a machine really in the years to come, as Jinx looks to make his way through. He couldn't get past the Beaker de Pato, but on the exit of Young Cow, I think he's going to go past Axel here. Will Axel be aware that he's there? Yes, he will, just about. Ooh, and Axel nearly went in the wall there, so that was very nearly curtains as Larkin comes in.
Larkin comes in, so he's admitting defeat. Unfortunately, I thought he was going to stay out, but he knew once Lawrence passed him that the other intermediate runners are going to catch up and follow suit. So, bit of a shame now for Larkin, but he didn't know what the weather was going to do. He didn't take that risk, and he's down in 15th spot, but we know his pace in One Hub Racing. I've also seen him racing other leagues as well. I know he can climb up the field, so it's not over for Larkin, and he's still not that far behind some of his main rivals. So, you know, this could be good for him as Timo gets past Vatesy. So Timo is slowly climbing his way up.
There's a car in the wall.
That's Jonas. That's Jonas Albrecht on the exit of turn 4 and the entry of 5. And he's going to wait until every car goes past. Oh, careful. Don't reverse yet. I think, yeah, reverse now. He's got to be no, don't go the wrong way. Luckily, the ghosting system's on, because otherwise he would have went into King J. Oh, safety car.
Yeah, that's a bit suspicious, that, Jess, because he obviously waited a long time. Now, we have seen someone before in One Hub Racing get kicked out for crashing into the wall and then deliberately waiting longer than he should
That was Mega Gamer in Spain. But I think he was waiting because there were cars, I think, passing him, and he didn't want to distract them. I think that's why he did that, because he didn't want to distract them. But yeah, I think that was what caused the safety car. That has helped Axelot quite a bit. Ooh,
I'll tell you what.
Mediums for Jinx and Axelot. I like that risk. But is it going to be dry enough by the time it's like, well, we said that about the Inters and it paid off. So if it works, this could be a goal. I don't think mediums could last to the end from here. If I was them, I would have gone on hards, but it is a bit tight to be on in these conditions compared to the hards anyway. And at this point, they don't gain as much wear around here in these type of conditions anyway, so they should be fine. But it's going to be tough, I think. So, yeah, fair play to them taking the brave call. But if I was them, I would have gone on hards personally, because that would have definitely gone to the end. But I guess they weren't as comfortable in these conditions with the hard tyre.
Yeah, and J. Cole still hasn't gone onto the dry. I mean, he's gone onto intermediates now, but I'm a bit surprised he didn't choose to go maybe onto the dries now, considering what the others are doing. But he's still in play to win this race, really, with J. Cole, with all his ability. I think the safety car is going to be staying out there for one more lap. But are the conditions going to be dry enough for the slicks in 2 minutes' time? It may well do, but it's really pushing it.
It's drying up very quickly at some parts of the track, though. You're starting to see some dry lines forming already, but there's quite a lot of damp parts of the circuit. Now, Quint, King J and Nick has gone for the hards. We already saw King J lose it, and he is struggling, he's crawling. So he's going to hope that the safety car is out for a long period of time. We got a lot of people that have come in, Tom. We got hard runners for Cam, Timo, Vatesy, J. Cole and Larkin and J. Cole. Well, J. Cole realised, I think he's admitted defeat once again. So he feels like he would gain time being on those hard tyres. Lawrence has come in as well. Jonas is on in mediums as well as Tim. So the only ones that have stayed out is White Fountain in P1. Hooky in second. They've already caught up to the safety car, so they've lost out big time. Matthias in third. Mason Jr. in fourth. Giggle in fifth. Everyone else has stopped. But why is Jonas pitting again? Oh, no, he's just come out. Okay, he just come out. That explains it then. But it hasn't been the first time where there was a bit of a question as to whether it was deliberate or not. I don't think it was, but other people may think to differ. But we've seen many occasions in the past in real life as well, haven't we? 2008, where we saw Nelson Piquet crash to help his teammate win the Singapore Grand Prix. And it's dry. It's dry. It's dry tyres. It's definitely dry tyres. The ones on Inters have pretty much screwed themselves here.
Yeah, the safety cars stay out for another lap. So if I was Delta Hunter and those on the intermediates, I'd get in the pits now.
Otherwise, you would lose so much time. So
yeah,
I think Delta is going to be like, yeah, Delta's in, Hookie's in, Matthias in, Giggle, yeah, they're all going in. So Jinx was the first one to go on in those medium tyres, and he's leading. Axelot in second, Cam in third, Timo in fourth. I don't know why they're trying to overtake when there's a safety car. That's very strange, but all to be revealed. So, good news, everybody. Oh, as Timo and Tim had a bit of a coming together. Good news, everybody. No more wet to affect our race for the rest of this one. We had our wet fun in quali and the start of the race. It is now winner takes all. Who's going to be the All-Star One Hub of Season 22?
Yeah, well, Jinx, I don't know if mediums are going to be the best tyre, Jess, because
no.
Are they going to be able to last to the end of the race? I have to say that Camke Mum is in prime position to win this one, because Jinx and Axelot are going to be struggling towards the end, so they're going to need to manage their mediums all the way to the end if they're going to win this one. So they'll be banking on another safety car before this race is over.
I think so as well. What is happening to Timo and Tim? Oh my goodness. If the stewards were here tonight, they would have definitely questioned that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting silly now, Jess.
It is. Timo, Tim, whatever you're doing, just stop. Just stop colliding into each other. Safety car's in. Now that's late. Jinx, I know when he's P1 before, he always tends to dominate races, the races I commentate on. But is he going to dominate this one? We'll have to wait and see. Mediums versus hards is going to be good for the start of the stint, but towards the end of the stint, he is going to find it an absolute nightmare. So, here we go then, for the second restart of the evening. Jinx gets away well, so does Axelot, but Cam has got a good getaway on those hard tires. I think it seemed to be done well with the grit. Timo versus Tim, round number 3. It seems, oh, they made contact. Timo and Tim had a bit of a coming together. It's an all-star race. Come on, they shouldn't have instance like that. It's a bit dodgy racing, if you ask me. In my opinion, it's about a bit of fun. No championships involved, and they still go and drive like that. So hopefully they can race fairly in future, please. Everyone else seems to be racing well. As someone's gone off, that is King J, has gone off on the entry into turn 4. Everyone else, though, seems to be running away swimmingly. Jinx pulling away by 1.3 seconds. Tim on the back of Cam. Now, what is Tim going to do here? I wonder if Cam has saw what happened to Timo. And is a bit wide for his life. Hazor, spinner. That's Hooky. That is Hooky that has spun in that twisty part of the circuit. The two P3 drivers at the back, not having a good one, it seems.
No, I'm just watching Axelot, because he's under threat from Cam came on. He's right up behind, so although Tim's just gone past him now, so Tim going up into 3rd position behind Axelot. And will Axelot fight this one? I think he will have to, but having said that, he's going to lose ground to Jinx, who's pulling away at the head of the field. Just looking at J. Cole at the moment, because he's tucked up behind weights. As Tim gets past Axelot, and he's round the outside. Did he go past him off the circuit, though? You may have to give that place up.
Gives me Hamilton and Verstappen vibes from 2021, Tom, when you said that around Brazil, because that was questionable. But anyway, Tim up to 2nd. Will he keep it there? We'll have to wait and see. Can he close up to Jinx very soon on those medium tyres? Now, let's look who has gained positions here, because no one technically has to stop again. They've all done that there. Actually, no, we've got 2 people that have yet to do their mandatory stops. That is Tim and Axelot. So even though they're on the mediums or hards now, they have to pit one more time. So they're going to lose out so much. Yellow flag, that's Delta has had an off. That looked like a spin on its own then. So he was struggling for traction there. But yeah, everyone apart from Tim and Axelot have done their mandatory stops. They've done their 2 stops. Some people have done 3, but there we go. But that's probably why quite a few people pitted twice under safety car to get their 2 stops out of the way. That explains it a bit more. I think that's what J. Cole did, just to get his 2 stops out of the way.
Yeah, so I think Tim and Axel will be wanting another safety car then in that case, unless they can pull out enough of a gap over those behind. But how are they going to do that on a circuit like this? And how are they going to get the benefit on the soft compounds in the remaining laps?
Yeah, that is my question. As J. Cole gets past Vatesy, but they're still going to go side by side through here, through this twisty part of the chicane. They're leaving a lot of space, good respect between the pair of them, but J. Cole gets past up into 5th place. And the 2 green liveries are showing respect on track, which is great to see. Green is usually a happy colour for me, as King J has gone off again. He's stationary on the circuit. He's beached.
Yeah, he's beached it. Unless he can use the reset trap button to get back on, he's out of it.
I think there's no stewards, so if I was him, yeah, he's done it. I think if you're beached like that, there should be a rule in any league that you can reset the trap. I think that's the only thing you could do. I think if it was a normal one-hub race, he would have got a 5-second penalty for that, but I know in some leagues it's hard. Oh, Timo! Timo's had an off then. I think his tyres were warm after that spin earlier, and that's dropped him down another position. Now Jonas and Nick have gone past him.
Yeah, and just looking at King, I think he's had another spin, so I think he may decide to call it a day, but it's just not been his night, has it? So just looking further down the orders. Yeah.
As you were saying?
Yeah, so J. Cole was under threat actually from Waitsy for a moment, but I think he's closing up behind Cam Kane as they go through Beacon de Pato now. And J. Cole, I think the DRS has already been enabled, so J. Cole is going to get moved on here, I think.
J. Cole versus Cam. J. Cole, of course, won the P2 champion the season before, and he went on to win the P1 champion this season. He won last season's All-Star race. Can he make it a second and make it a two-peat? We'll have to wait and see. It looked like it could be him at the moment. He's in a net second place at the moment if he gets past Cam. So that is good. Those cars should get to the end quite comfortably. So J. Cole up to 4th place.
And...
Content between... Oh, Larkin has spun contact between Larkin. Was it Vatesy or was it someone else?
It was with Vatesy. They went into turn 2 side by side like Hamilton and Verstappen did in 2022, except that Larkin went round and Vatesy continued on.
Ah, that explains it then. So, Larkin, a bit of a shame because I think he would have been up there in terms of pace here today. So, Larkin, unfortunately, is in 12th at the moment. Obviously, no pride on offer today, just pride and glory. So, the higher that you finish, the better, really. As Jinx still pulling away that massive gap. But he's going to have to pit towards the end of the race because those means will not make it. So he hopes another safety car will bring him back into contention. So at the moment, J. Cole is the favourite. Matthias has had a moment in the background. Oh! He was lucky that there was no cars in front of him and the ghosting system was on because otherwise that could have ended up very bad. Timo's gone for a spin as well. To be fair, as the track conditions are getting a bit hotter, Tom, it seems to be there's more spins.
They're just getting the power down too much. They're being too greedy on the throttle coming out of these slower corners. So that's why we're seeing so many drivers spinning around in the way that they have been. At least it spikes up the action towards the back, even though they're so far down the order. But I want to be seeing cars continuing on without spinning at all, really. So we've got J. Cole closing up behind Axel now. And I think J. Cole's going to be within position here to sew up Axel here by the time they get onto the pit straight.
Yeah, I think he's picked up the pace very, very quickly. So his... decision to not pit for the Inters did not hinder him at all. It's kind of helped him in a way as well. That second safety car was definitely a lifesaver for the P1 champion as he's looking to gain another position. He is a net P2 anyway because obviously Axelot having a penalty and him, Axelot, only doing one stop. So we'll see what he can do with his straight line speed then. So on the power he goes, J. Cole, not using his DRS. He didn't think he can use it. But he's going to use it, the DRS heading in towards here, past the Curb de Sol. So J. Cole then, on the power, he's using his DRS now. Larkin in the pit, so he must have got severe damage from that. But J. Cole down the inside, through the Cena de Largo, gets past Axelot up to P3 then. So he's definitely, a net P2 on track now, which is great to see. But can he find 4 seconds on Jinx to get that race victory? Now he knows, hopefully, that Jinx is on mediums. So he's just got to be patient. He's just got to be patient, focus on the task in hand, and you never know. But he can't become complacent now. And another driver that's been looking good to this race as well is your pick is Cam as well. Even though it wasn't wet for most of the race, it was only for the start. His pace on the dries is pretty good, and he's further ahead than the rest of the field. And if he keeps this up, he could be on for a shot on the podium here.
Yeah, I think he's in prime position here to get onto the podium now. Is Cam, so he's just got to. By what J. Cole is doing is just be patient and stick behind. Although Axel will be desperate to get back in front of him, but he's going to end up using more life out of his mediums, isn't he? If he's going to continue attacking J. Cole. So I think if I was Axel, I'd just sit in behind and just stay in touch with J. Cole and pull away from Cam.
Yeah, I would do the same, to be honest, if I was Cam, but we'll see, obviously, what he can do for the rest of it as well. Let's know your predictions in the chat. Who you think is going to win this race. Great to see quite a few of you. Of course, we've got Colin, Evil Dragon, obviously a few drivers in there as well that were hoping it was going to rain, not rain, but it did. Imagine if there was a monsoon in Brazil. I think in dynamic weather there's monsoon conditions, but I don't think you can set monsoon conditions in the game yourself, which is quite weird. But There we go. It happened. So, as a yellow flag, who's that? Now that's Hooky once again. As Quinn gets past him, so his esports teammate has got past him. Jonas has got past Lawrence. Now these two have been used to battling each other in a P3. And Giggle's got past Lawrence. That was a great move from Giggle. As Giggle is in the pits. Okay, is that Giggle in the pits? No, it's Lawrence. Lawrence is in the pits. Why would you go in the pits when he's on hards and can get to the end? And he's done his 2 stops already. Maybe he's forgotten that he's done his 2 stops. That's probably why. Or he thinks hards can't get to the end. So he's on mediums, but he's going to drop way down the order. But to be honest, for Lawrence, it's all about a bit of fun for him. So to be fair, he's not bothered. He's done a good job already in this all-star race anyway. He's exceeded my expectations. So yeah, he's doing it in a great job so far. But will that pit stop pay off? Penalties are starting to come into play, Tom, with Larkin just picking up one.
Yeah, he's picked up one there. So drivers just need to be very careful. They'll have picked up track limit 1 is earlier on in the race on either inters or wets. So they cannot afford to be getting track limit 1 into this stage in the race, really. Tim, he's coping well, actually, on the mediums, despite the fact he needs to make one more stop. How far will he decide to go before he goes onto the soft compound? I would say he's to go as far as like 28 or 29 before going onto the softs.
I think that's what some people are going to do, the ones who haven't made their stops. Their second stop is go on to the softs till the end of the race. Now, it is a mandatory 2 stop, and if you don't do your mandatory 2 stop, you will get a disqualification, and that doesn't look good for obviously the All-Star race. They had obviously had the privilege of being invited to the All-Star race because of how well they did over the season as a whole. And there was a few drivers that had some expectations about this going into this as well. A lot of people obviously hoping it was going to be dry. He doesn't have a clue where he's going to finish, but he aimed to finish strongly. But to be fair, he's in P6 at the moment, so doing a very great job. I don't think Racy's had any wing changes, and he was hoping for a safety car, but he got one. So yeah, Hooky said he'll be the first person lapped, but I don't think he's lapped yet. So already he's exceeding expectations as well. And Hooky's expecting a lot of wing changes, which he's already got already. So yeah, those were the answers so far. Not many people responded, but that was fine. At least we got a few responses here today. As Jinx is doing something that I've seen time and time again when he leads at the front. Whenever he leads, he dominates.
Yeah, so Jinx is he's just coping well. He just needs to preserve his mediums in these final 12 laps of the race, because otherwise he's going to be very vulnerable to those behind. I think most particularly J. Cole, because J. Cole, he's definitely in position to win this race, really. So he just needs to it doesn't need to catch up to Tim most particularly, because Tim has to pit in again. I just hope Tim remembers the rule of 2 stops. As we've got a spin further behind, that's Nick, who's had a bit of a moment on the exit of DC de Largo, and so he's gone round and he's kept hold of 11th position.
He has.
Unless Timo's just got past him. Yeah.
Timo is in 10th place now, but Nick, I think that spin didn't cost him that much. I don't think he's got that massive damage. So, to be fair, Nick has done a great job so far. Let's look at people that gain positions. Jinx and Jonas, the ones that have gained the most, up 13th and 12th respectively. Axlock has gained 9, but he's yet to stop. Giggles gained 1, Del Hunter's gained 4, as well as Mason Jr. So that both of them have had decent races, in my opinion. Biggest losers at the moment, obviously Larkin down 11, Lawrence down 13. He's going to hope for a safety car. He may get his wish. There's someone that's had a spin, and that is King J again. To be fair play to King J. He hasn't given up so far, even though he's struggling around Brazil. So we are out of the ones that haven't retired due to an incident. They're still all going in this race, which is really great to see. They're not giving up. Unless you have severe wing damage, there's no point to continue if you have severe wing damage, because you end up spinning every 5 seconds. But Lawrence is back in full force here, as he could try and do a Ricardo send. down the inside in towards this twisty section, or they're not leaving much space, are they? They're still going side by side. Lawrence just about gets ahead. As Hookie's spun round again, unfortunately. I think it was Hookie, but Lawrence up to 14th now. Giggle is in. So, is he going to go on to soft tyres? I think some people have forgotten that they've already done 2 stops already. Giggle was on mediums, I believe, so understandable why he's coming. There's no way he would have get to the end on the mediums that he was on. Now, that's going to send alarm bells ringing for Jinx and Tim. Because obviously Jinx, because obviously he's done his stop and he has to pit. And obviously Tim, you can't afford to punch it like this. You just can't. The ones on the mediums who have been on those tyres since the dries have come on, they're going to struggle now. I think the hards will become viable. As King J has retired from the session, it's not in the pit, he was on track, and ladies and gentlemen, to wrap up the race, we have got the safety car, and that is good news for J. Cole. His timing in the pit lane couldn't be more perfect. He literally saw the safety car, he was like, boom, the pit lane was near me, I will go into the pits. So, J. Cole is in. If I was everybody, everyone should go on a set of softs. Everyone should go on a set of softs. Luckily, Tim has passed the safety car, so he's been saved by the safety car anyway. He was going to hope for a safety car as well. My oh my, we're in for a spicy end of this race. I am excited.
Yeah, I am as well. I was watching Tim all the way down. I thought he was going to suffer absolutely horribly with the time with the safety car, because I thought the safety car was going to beat into that exit line, but thankfully Tim got there first, so he's going to be able to make his way round, get into the pit lane and get a set of softs on.
Yeah, I think that's what most people are doing, is going on to a set of the soft tyres. Timo has stayed out. J. Cole is on mediums. Now he thinks softs won't get to the end from here. He's going to be on the more durable tyre, and he has the pace, so I'm liking that bold strategy call from J. Cole. Giggle is saying, oh, well, he just pitted, so it was a no-brainer for him to stay out anyway, but, what has happened to Jinx and Axelot? That looked like an illegal overtake there. What is going on? That is very weird. It must be the Delta glitch. Definitely the Delta glitch. A lot of people are slowing right down. I just don't want him to get drive. Oh my goodness, I've never seen this before in league racing, where like they're all bunched up and the safety car is not even caught up to them yet. What the hell? Oh my goodness.
It's almost like they're trying to prepare for a rolling start in IndyCar, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're almost like trying to go in rows of 2. But yeah, that is another issue with Codemasters at the moment. We've seen so many things over the years with the glitches that we've seen in these F1 game cycles, and we've just seen another one there.
Yeah, it looked like it, didn't it? But luckily Tim has caught up to the safety car, and he's now your race leader. We thought he wasn't going to be the net race leader, but he is now. Now, by the way, I'm definitely going to clip that and put that on my TikTok later on, because that's probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So, yeah, and Amy saying the first time he's seen this in league racing. Yes, me too, to be honest. I have seen people slow down before, but not to that extent. As I'm seeing Omi in the chat saying he's hoping for a P3 drive to win, but doesn't look like it likely. But you never know. There could be people being very feisty and take each other out. Pretty much everyone has a chance for winning this race, unless you have a penalty. I'm still going to put my money on J. Cole, because I doubt the softs are going to last long, but we'll see. You never know. Anything could happen in Formula 1, and Timo, he is coming into the pit lane right now onto a set of the soft tyres. So he was waiting until the softs were more viable, which is fair enough, and he's changing his front wing. So there we go. 2 for the price of 1.
I think, Jess, I'm just watching because I think Hookie was trying to get back on the lead lap by going off the racetrack. And trying to, so I think what's happened is, you know, when they were bunching up on the pit straight, because someone's just saying that he was been trying to play with them a little bit, and Hooky came in at the wrong point because he was so far back down the field. He's managed to find himself a lap down.
That probably explains it then. He was trying to unlap himself. But what I think Hooky should have done was what Timo did, and he did that perfectly, was wait until everyone did their pit stops. He would have almost caught up to the safety car. Then he would have come in, go on a serve soft, and he wouldn't have been a lap down. That's what I would have done if I was Hooky. But where is he now? He's in 17th. He is right in the middle of this train. He's going to be a lap down anyway. So that is a bit of a shame. So unfortunately, his race, well, unless everyone's going to lap him anyway, so he's going to remain in last place unless some people have a horrific accident. We're just waiting for Timo to catch up to the end of this train. So safety car should be in one. No! Safety car is not in for one more lap because the safety car is in right now. That is very, very late. That's going to catch a lot of people off guard, including our race leader, Tim. What is he going to think about now? He had little time to react here about this safety car. He's on the sauce and someone has launched away already with this safety car. That was okay. Okay, that explains it then. So Tim stays in P1 for now. Jinx in P2. Jaco in third. Delta Hunter has had enough. There was a bit of carnage in the background. As Timo, I think, might have been him off as well. Here comes Mason Jr. round the outside into Kerber de Sol. Tries to get past Delta's damaged front wing, and he does. Oh my goodness, Matthias had a bit of an off with Larkin. A bit of a synchronised spin there, it looked like, but there we go. But yeah, Larkin has had a miserable part of this race as Matthias has dropped down to 16th. He's going to spin again. Go the right way. You do not want to do what we saw Jonas do earlier and cause another safety car. That'll be very questionable. We've got a battle for the lead at the most unconventional of places. Tim trying to defend from Jinx, but it's harder than expected. Tim really doesn't need to defend that much because he knows Jinx got the penalty, but if they keep defending and attacking that much, J. Cole's going to catch up to these two, and J. Cole could win this race. So J. Cole's in a very good position. This could be 3 wide here. J. Cole may back out of this. We've got a yellow flag, which is Matthias in the background, but Jinx and Tim still going side by side. Past Turnerette into Kerber de Sol now. J. Cole's got better straight line speed than the pair of them. Can he get both of them in one corner? We have to wait and see then. As on lap 32 of 36. No contact was made. J. Cole rightfully backed off. But J. Cole having the better traction and going through turn 5 and 6 is allowing Jinx a bit of breathing room. Jinx now leads the Brazilian Grand Prix. More yellow flags. Those Hooky that spun once again. Great racing from our top 3. Wow.
Amazing racing. And Jinx had to get his elbows out and make a move for it because he's got to pull out this 3-second gap. We're continuously getting yellow flags as we see a number of drivers spinning around at the moment, trying to make up positions, make up for lost time, especially those who have got time penalties at the moment, including Axlock, who's expected to drop down a few positions at the end of this race unless he can start pulling away. But this is very much Tim's race to lose now because all he needs to do is just sit behind Jinx and not get overtaken. DRS is now enabled again. So as we watch Tim go right round the outside of Jinx into turn 1, and he's pulled off a brilliant move round the outside, and that was absolutely wonderful, and that was without DRS. Having said that, Jinx is going to get the DRS again here, Jess.
Yes, he is. Jinx then with the better run in towards the city of the Largo in turn 4. Round the outside they go, trying to do the dummy between those two as well. And if J. Cole going to take advantage, we'll see Jinx retakes the lead from Tim then in towards turn 6 and 7. But how much longer is he going to keep it? Tim is trying every trick of the book to make sure he gets the win on track. Delta Hunter is out of the race. Hooky is out of the race. Are we going to get a last few lap safety car? I think it's too late. So I think we've been let off for that one, which has allowed a lot more people to climb their way through the field then. We're about to start lap 34, 36 then. It's getting spicy. Omi is predicted in chat J. Cole for the win. And to be fair, if J. Cole doesn't win, then he's probably going to blame Omi for that. But anyway, they're burning their soft tires so much by just battling too much. Tim goes around the outside again in towards turn 1 and 2. keeps it this time. Jinx with a better run. Again, he's doing similar moves to what we saw in the last few laps. And we've got yellow flags in every sector at the moment. There's lots of spinners going on at the moment, but the battle for the lead is the one we want to see at the moment. Axelot doing well in 4th place. That safety car has helped him quite a bit as well. And Tim this time managing to pull that gap to stay ahead of Jinx. So that's going to threaten Jinx in a way. And I think Jinx must be more worried about Jaco right now, as someone's off.
Yeah, Matthias hit the polystyrene boards and has just kept going. So nothing will change anything now because we're in the last few laps. So we won't get a VSC or a safety car now. But the battle for the win is very much on now. Can Tim hold off Jinx and J-Cole and win this race? Now, if Jinx gets past him, that won't matter too much. He just needs to stay in front of J-Cole, who I think at this stage now is on the better tyres.
J-Cole is definitely on the better tyres. I can see why he's went for it, and he's going to save every possible moment. Mason Jr. has got past Lawrence up to P12, but what about the lead? Jinx now goes around the outside in towards turn 1 and takes the lead from him, but I don't care that Jinx scored a penalty. This is still amazing racing for the lead anyway, because they're giving us some great racing to end off season 22. Tim then, is he going to go around the outside? He's going to try for it. He's going off the track. That could be questionable as he backs out of it at the moment. J-Cole has found more grip than the pair of them. He's now 1/10 behind these two. This could go three-way battle for the race win here as we approach the final lap very soon. Axelot doesn't have the pace to catch him, unfortunately, but looks like Cam's going to be finishing P on the podium as it stands, which will be a great result for him, unless I've done my maths completely wrong, but we'll see what these three can do. J-Cole has won the All-Star race last season. He could be on for a second time in a row, or can we see a new All-Star race winner of Tim? It is 3 P1 drivers battling for the All-Star race win here, and this is what I love to see. So final lap then has reached us here today. Jinx then covers off Tim. Tim was thinking about going around the outside, but it doesn't work. We've got J-Cole, who's ran out of VRS, but will that affect him? I don't know. Tim trying to go on the attack to try and get past Jinx, heading towards turn 1. He didn't need to do it because he knows, as Jinx has had a moment in towards turn 4, the risk didn't work, and Tim looks like on course to be taking the race victory, and J-Cole's lost loads of time for that.
Yeah, that might get looked at by the stewards after the race because it looks like Jinx is retired.
On track.
He's retired on track, so I think he's deliberately crashed as well, so that he may get spoken to by the stewards afterwards for that. I think he didn't need to do that because I think the stewards will have looked at the incident and possibly have given Tim a penalty for it. But we'll just watch Tim as he's coming through the last corners now just to take victory.
Here he comes then. Tim has driven amazing. We thought that the victory was lost for him due to him not pitting and done his 2 stops, but that final safety car has helped him. Tim is your All-Star champion for season 22 and celebrate in style. J-Cole unfortunately just misses out, but to be fair, great drive between the pair of them today. Fantastic. Cam with a well-deserved podium. He'll be happy with that. Same with Vatesy. Vatesy doing a brilliant job today in a P4. I think he'll be pleased with that as well to finish ahead of some P1 drivers. Jonas Orbit, the highest position out of the P3 drivers, P5. Now, he's usually good around Brazil, but he was the one that caused that last safety car. That may come into question, but we'll see. I don't think, though, Tom, there are stewards in this All-Star race, but I will double-check. As that slot sit, Yam the Giggle doing well in 7th. To be fair, he was on those mediums, and him staying on those mediums also helps. So brilliant. We'll go through the rest of the order. So many driver of the days. Obviously, I don't think we're going to pick one for today because obviously it's the All-Star race. But I think J-Cole had even though there were some places where I questioned about the strategy, he was able to have the pace on the tyres that he wanted to. It didn't matter what tyre he went on to. He still finished quite well. So J-Cole, I think I'll have to give one of my driver of the days to. I think obviously Tim for winning the race and having that strategy call and having that nice battle with Jinx before it got too hairy. And Cam as well finished on the podium, some honorable mentions. But let's go through your order then. for the All-Star race. It's suddenly raining again. So Tim from Jaco, from Cam, Ratesy, Jonas, Axelot, the Having a Giggle, Nick, Timo, and Mason. Mason having a good race. And we've got Lawrence, Matthias, Quinn, Jinx, R, and Larkin, and Dale Hunter are your finishers. 3 retirements, we've got Hookie, King J, and J Luke. What a way to end season 22 like that.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. It was a good race all the way through, so much action all the way to the end, and you have to say Tim worked very, very hard for that victory, and he had to have some luck on his side as well, because he was struggling on the mediums and he needed to make a second pit stop anyway, so it fell right into his hands. J. Cole won't be too despondent with second place, so he knew it was going to be a very tough race for him anyway, but yeah, I think we've been treated to a very, very, very interesting Sao Paulo Grand Prix here at Interlagos.
And I have to say, the first All-Star race was pretty good around Silverstone last season. The second one did not disappoint, so I have to say, I hope this keeps going for future seasons, and it's a unique idea that Cam has put together. So thank you very much, Cam, who has organised the whole thing. I didn't have, me, Lukey, and Nick did not have any input into this. Cam has organised it all himself. Lukey did the graphics and that was it, but Cam had all the input to himself. So thank you so much, Cam, for organising it. I feel like that was a huge success. Liking the weather change as well. Kind of wish we had input into the weather, but in terms of choosing ourselves, but I'm guessing we would have wanted rain, which would have been a bit confusing, but we got rain anyway. So yes, before we go, let's have a quick final mention of our sponsors. Next Level Racing will sponsor the league by providing prizes. We got Pure Sim Gear, sponsor the league by providing a new product not launched yet to the driver with the most podiums. Gamer Good for sponsoring the league by providing Gamer Good samples to our trophy winners. Aztec Sim Sports for sponsoring the league by providing a multitude of prizes with different ways to win them. Our partners, Vespertine, by partnering with Vespertine, who supported our official apparel. We've got ERT, Elite Racing Team, partnering the ERT Going Gets Top Award and League Trophies. And Singrid, powered by Singrid, run our seasons through their community and platform. There we go, the final time we have to say the sponsors for this season. Tom, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I've just been treated to a brilliant season of One Hub Racing, given it's been, I wasn't around obviously for the last couple of seasons pretty much though due to other commitments, but I'm glad to have joined back again. In terms of my news, I can only do a reserve position as I'll be busy with my commitments over at Formula 1 during the course of the season that is coming up beginning next weekend. But I'm sure I'll stick around and keep on tabs with people and how they're doing and how One Hub Racing is getting on. So all to everyone that's been watching this during the course of season 22, whether it's the P1 tier, P2 tier, or the P3 tier, and of course all our sponsors and partners, thank you very much for partnering up for another season, and we look forward to season 23 when it does begin very, very soon. Don't
you worry, Tom is still going to be commentating, but elsewhere. Not going to say where, but you will see his socials anyway, so you can find out where he's commentating. Just speaking of socials, by the way, where can they catch you if they want to follow you on Twitter?
So my Twitter tag is TomCans95 and Instagram is Tom_Cans22. There is a Linktree link on my Twitter bio, so you'll be able to find that on the profile of itself. So there's all my social media, so obviously my Facebook page, my Instagram account, and of course my YouTube channel as well, which you can find everything you need on there. There's also my TikTok on there.
Yes, and my Twitter is at JessGoves95, same with my Instagram and YouTube as well. You can follow us, the league, at One Hub Racing on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you join us on Discord. Follow us on Twitch as well. That would be absolutely lovely. And also subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that bell if you are new as well. More information about future seasons of One Hub Racing will be coming up soon, so make sure you stay tuned in for that. But for now, enjoy your Fridays off for a while, because I think it's going to be a nice break. We'll see you very soon for some more One Hub Racing action. For myself and Tom, it's been a good one. Have a good evening. Bye-bye. And